This hour of HQ presented by 5 Hour Energy. We are 1 week from the NFL season opener in Tampa between the defending champs and America's team. Tom Brady beginning his quest for Super Bowl number 8. Dak Prescott returning after his gruesome ankle injury almost 11 months ago. He's also had a shoulder injury that's limited him in his return. CBS's coverage beginning a week from Sunday. Bunch of really good matchups beginning at 1 Eastern time. Cardinals at Titans. You got the Bills hosting the Steelers. 4:25 Eastern, a rematch of the divisional round matchup. That great game between the Browns and the Chiefs. And Sunday afternoon, we'll have, not we, but Fox will have Packers at Saints in Jacksonville. Again, that game being moved from the Superdome after what happened with Hurricane Ida down there. Want to bring in Charles Davis, who's going to be with us several times a week here on CBS Sports HQ, calling games once again this season for CBS. And Charles, let's start with the opener a week from tonight. Still seems like a lot of trepidation about Dak's shoulder. Why do you think this is a great spot for his return and for the Cowboys to open the season on a high note here?
Hey, Chris, and aren't we all excited about this season really about to get ready to start? This is fantastic for everyone involved, but I think the reason that there's still trepidation for people is that they just have the unknown coming off of an ankle injury for Dak Prescott, the shoulder, which really shouldn't have been much of a story in preseason, because coming off of an ankle injury, he probably didn't get a chance to throw very much. He probably went too hard, but I think he'll be okay. To me, this is a great spot for Dallas, because you're playing the defending Super Bowl champs. You're playing TB12. They're going to raise the banner. The fans are going to be there. Oftentimes, the defending champ, ripe for an upset for a team coming in. And this is a Cowboys team, 6-10 last year, revamped, new start. I think it's a great spot for them, a good chance for them possibly spring an upset.
Cannot wait. A week from tonight, Dak Prescott's return, Bucs raising the banner. Great way to start the 2021 NFL season. Everybody else, for the most part, gets going on Sunday. Biggest news of the week this week, Charles, the Patriots cutting Cam. They're going to start Mac Jones week 1. You think he's ready to step into that role?
I absolutely do think that Mac Jones is ready to step into that role, Chris. When you go back and trace him from high school, he signed at Alabama when Jalen Hurts was coming off the SEC Freshman and Player of the Year and took his team to a national championship. Tua Tagovailoa was signing with Alabama. He knew he'd have to wait his turn, but he was ready when that time came. He is very confident in himself, but he's not overbearing, extremely accurate with the football. And when Cam Newton missed those days of practice recently, when he had the issue and he violated policy, boy, Mac Jones stepped in a big way, got all the first team reps. He has got the respect of the ball club. He is used to being in tough spots, but I don't think that's going to bother him at all. I love his accuracy. I love his poise. I think he's more than ready for this with a much better New England Patriots team in 2021 to surround him than what Cam Newton had in 2020.
And facing his former teammate Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins, there was a lot of offseason chatter about Miami potentially going out trading for Deshaun Watson, but Brian Flores keeps saying Tua is his guy. You think he's ready to make a big jump this season because it was kind of a lackluster start his rookie year?
Yeah, and you know, Chris, when we go back, remember Tua getting drafted, he had been the prohibitive favorite of the quarterback, people for a long time. But you remember his last season in Alabama, he had that horrific hip injury, as well as some other injuries. So instead of really getting ready for a season, he was rehabbing. I saw him this summer during training camp, and he is noticeably bigger in terms of his entire frame. Much better with the body armor, thicker, stronger, because he had a whole offseason to actually train this time. I think he's ready to take a jump. The big thing for us to keep an eye on is that last year, when he was the starter and he got in trouble, Brian Flores could go to the bullpen and call in Ryan Fitzpatrick. This year, there's no Fitz. He's in Washington. Jacoby Brissett's the backup. Now it's Tua Tagovailoa's game from start to finish, bumps and bruises and all. He has to prove himself, but he'll have a much better chance to do so.
We've had all these quarterback stories this offseason going right up to Cam Newton being released this week. But the only quarterback story there was for so many months was what was going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Well, he's back, and there's really not much coming out of Packers camp. Seems like everything's okay, except for the fact, Charles, that he doesn't have his big pass protector, his all-pro left tackle, David Bakhtiari, starting the season on the PUP, going to miss the first 6 games. How big of an impact could that be?
That could be a huge impact for Green Bay, but they've gotten used to playing without different people at times, and they know how to shuffle their offensive line. The interesting thing for them, remember, is they lost Corey Linsley, their all-pro center who signed with the Los Angeles Chargers. When you don't have that center who has that type of experience with line calls, making sure the proper people are getting blocked, that could be an issue. They'll start with a youngster, a rookie named Myers out of Ohio State, but they should find a way to handle all of that. Don't forget, with Aaron Rodgers' experience, understanding where the pass rush is coming from, able to step away from it and swing protection in that area in order to get some extra people, I think they'll find a way to navigate it before David Bakhtiari comes back and reassumes his role as one of the better left tackles in football.
It's funny, Green Bay, really, they haven't been in the headlines the last few weeks because everything seems to be okay. Have you heard much out of Packers camp with Aaron Rodgers being the biggest story of the offseason until about a month ago?
Chris, that's such a great point that you make. I think that it's been very quiet since Aaron Rodgers' press conference and all of the rest of us digesting it and rehashing it and talking about it and going over it. But once we got past a couple of days past the press conference, I think you're spot on. It's been very quiet out of Packerland, and they wouldn't have it any other way. They're moving forward. Back-to-back NFC Championship game appearances. They want that one more win this year to get them back to a Super Bowl.
Let's move to the AFC North, a really intriguing division. You had a couple teams make some big strides last season. Lamar Jackson got his first playoff win, Browns' first playoff win in a generation. The Steelers, they got off to that great undefeated start, but Charles, they've kind of been an afterthought, honestly. Is that a mistake that we're making, kind of maybe counting out Big Ben and what could be his last season there?
I agree. I think it's always an afterthought, and it's a mistake if we're discounting the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can bore you with a ton of stats, and I'll give you a few, and then I'll get into the meat of it. Mike Tomlin, 14 years as a head coach in the NFL, has never had a losing season. 8-8's been the worst season they had. They had one recently where they finished the season with Duck Hodges as their quarterback. Somehow they got to 8-8 that year. So don't ever expect them to just fall off a cliff. The defense is still terrific with T.J. Watt keying the pass rush. So don't worry about that. Minkah Fitzpatrick patrolling center field. Their key is, can a revamped offensive line actually move people so they can run the football a little bit? The last 2 years, they've been like 31st, 32nd in the league in rushing. That's near last. That's not Pittsburgh Steelers football. Dan Moore, the left tackle out of Texas A&M, a rookie, will probably start there. The Kevin Dotson, a second-year guy, will start at guard. Kendrick Green, a rookie out of Illinois, will start at center. And Chuks Okafor, who they had moved to left tackle, he'll go back to right tackle. I think that'll make them a better offensive line. And don't forget Najee Harris, the rusher out of Alabama, first-round pick. He'll make them better at the running back position automatically. So if they can run it a little, don't worry about Ben. Ben threw for over 30 touchdown passes last year, had a heck of a season. They just couldn't move people in the run game, and teams started to suffocate them. Don't discount the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC North.
4-1, plus 400 to win that division. They are behind the likes of the Ravens and the Browns, who made that big leap last season. They came so close from knocking off the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Brady Quinn has been on set here many times, and he said that when you look at their roster up and down, he doesn't see a more complete roster in the NFL. You buying that?
I'm buying it. And listen, when Brady Quinn talks, I listen. Believe me, one of the smartest football people I know. But he's absolutely right about this. Chris, if we were able to show this roster and not know what team it was for, you would say, my goodness, that's a heck of a good roster that only got better in the offseason. I thought they had a heck of a draft. Being able to get really what I call 2 first-round picks with Greg Newsome, the corner out of Northwestern, and then in the second round, a first-rounder all day, every day, but there's a late medical concern, and Jeremiah Wusu-Koromora, the outside linebacker, who can flat-out fly and play a little bit of strong safety. They got better in the offseason, and they have unfinished business. I think what people forget is while they had a great year, they finished third in their division. They're seeking to win a division title, and they can't wait to get to Kansas City and take on the Chiefs. because they thought they had them last year in the playoffs.
That's one of our games a week from Sunday on CBS. You've got another big one, Steelers and Bills. You got the Tennessee helmet behind you. You called college football all those years. This is such a great weekend for college football. Next weekend, we've got the fans back in the stadiums.
Yeah.
How excited are you to get back to normal, get back in the booth this season?
Chris, I'm as excited as everyone else is, and I think it's a collective, isn't it? It's not just you and I and all of our colleagues going to work. It's the fans being able to get back in the stands and root their team on and enjoy those times that they have with their family and friends. I saw a movie recently where the guy was going to a baseball game. He said, "This is my summer family," because he had season tickets. That's what it's like each fall for a lot of people, getting back with their fall family. I think we're all very excited about it. And yeah, I'm excited about my Vols too. They open up tonight against Bowling Green. Let's see if my Vols can get back on the beam and start to become contenders again with Josh Heupel as the new head coach. But bottom line, cannot wait to get to Buffalo with Iron Eagle, Evan Washburn, and our great team, and the Pittsburgh Steelers come to town. 2 division champs squaring off week 1.
Can't wait, Charles. We're going to be talking to you a few more times here on HQ before then. Good to have you on board with us several times a week this season. Looking at that slate for week 1 on CBS, Charles is going to be in Buffalo, Orchard Park for the Bills and the Steelers. And keep in mind what he said. The Steelers aren't just going to fall off a cliff. They never have a losing season. They're always winners. Do not count them out in that division. We also have Trevor Lawrence's debut for the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1 Eastern in Houston against the Texans. Couple of late afternoon games. Chiefs-Browns, which we talked about. Dolphins-Patriots, matchup of former Bama quarterbacks. Tua going up against Mac Jones.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.